it's time to have a brainstorming session. Kevin Engle, take charge.
All right, thanks, Don. So a couple of weeks ago, Glenn asked me if I'd be willing to talk about the taste. There's, the taste is a challenge, obviously a challenging event, and it's been postponed for this year. There's just no way that we can have a social gathering inside a library, inside, and under the current conditions with the restaurants, just really not. It just doesn't work, unfortunately. However, it doesn't replace that this fundraiser, which is half of it, if you don't know, the money raised for the Taste of West Lancaster County, half of it goes to the library, which they spend a lot of time fundraising, with the train guys and the cupcake quest and all the other different things. The Taste is also something that helps keep our library a vibrant, functioning library, and you'd be surprised at how many people utilize the library. There are 25,000 pairs of feet that walk through those doors every month that utilize the library in small little Elizabethtown. So it is a very heavily utilized, important to our community institution. The success of a community is driven a lot by the success of their library. And this fundraiser has been a partnership with the library. So not being able to have this fundraiser definitely creates a situation, not desperate, but they lose those type of funds. So Glenn asked me about what can we do? The cash mob effort that we've done is kind of helpful, definitely helpful for our partners, our vendors. The Taste of West Lancaster County would not be anything if it wasn't for our vendors. We have to have a draw, and they are definitely our draw. And because we have such good community partners in our area as far as the vendors, and to name a few of the people that have been there a long time, the Gathering Place is definitely one. Baum's Bologna has been to every single Taste of West Lancaster County. TJ Rockwell's, the Black Rifle, they showed up on a year that they had a fire in their place and weren't able to generate money at their own place of business, but they felt so strongly about supporting the Taste of West Lancaster County because it's a fundraiser that goes back into our community. They made sure that they were there that year. So there's been some amazing efforts by our vendors, and the cash mob, which had to be done quickly before we had this discussion to get our ducks in a row, because of the current situation with what's going on with COVID. No indoor dining is allowed, and understandably, I get that. I get the need for public safety, but it still doesn't eliminate that these restaurants are hurting. So the cash mob is separate from the Taste, but it coincides with what we were doing, and it was I really am really appreciative of everybody that's helped supporting. I love hearing all the questions of what can we do. Just go out and spend your dollars and help out these places, whether they're on the list or not on the list, or it's on the day or not on the day. The dollars that you spend back into our community, doesn't matter when you do it or how much you do it. Every little bit helps. Just a little bit of something else about the cash mob piece of it too. It's a great time. This is a perfect time to buy gift certificates. You've got Christmas coming up, and you've got people that whether it's like for us, adult kids who are out of the house. Well, here's a way that you can buy them dinner. Give them something, or parents that you don't know what to buy for, or so go buy some gift certificates too. That means that the restaurant receives that revenue, doesn't have to buy produce now, and those type of things help a great deal as well. So make sure you're reporting in any gift certificates. So it's a great time for that, just to plug for the cash mob. And before we go on to talk more about the Taste, the Gathering Place is also on the list. As you know, they don't quite fit the mold to kind of help with the cash mob, but they are doing Christmas meals. You have to pre-order. Joanne did send me, Joanne Pinkerton, who's a Mount Joy Rotarian, and Jim Pinkerton's better half. she did send me some. I just wasn't able to put it on the Facebook page because of what she sent. I had to communicate it, but if and maybe I'll send that to you, Don. That can be sent out to the club. It basically gave a list of what they're doing through these next couple of weeks, and there is an opportunity, even single meals for Christmas. There's people that they're not getting together with family, and they're just going to be eating by themselves. So they're creating Christmas single meals as well. So you can, even if you're just by yourself, you can still order a meal from the gathering place, and that might be a good place to help support them as well. So getting back to the taste, I've had a couple of different suggestions given to me as to what can we do. I'll give you what I was thinking that we could do. I'll give you some ideas of what other people have said. In fact, if I don't communicate it well enough for them, Glenn had a good suggestion too as well. It was a hybrid with the cash mob thing. But one of the things that getting back to the taste, how can we support the library in a way for this year? We want to go back to the taste when COVID is over, and it will be over. We want to go back to what we were doing in the library. I always thought it was a fantastic event. The fact that it was in February was great because it doesn't butt up against anything else. And what else are you doing on a Friday in February? It's a great time in the library, which is fantastic. But we can't do it this year. So one of the ideas that I was thinking of is possibly doing it for this upcoming year, or for this 2021. Not this February, but later in the month, maybe having some type of food truck event. Can't do a food truck event in February. You're not going to get people to come out into the cold and walk around food trucks in February. So it would have to be when it gets warmer. That's an idea that we possibly could do. It gets a little bit away from some of our current vendors. So there's some challenges that do that. Some places wouldn't have the ability to do a food truck who've been our current vendors. But I think we're doing enough to support our current vendors through the cash mob efforts that we've done. Kind of want to focus this a little bit on what can we do for the library. Glenn had an idea with a card like a coupon card that you would have, that you would get stamped. And you would buy this card and then you would go get stamped. Glenn, did you want to talk a little bit about your idea?
You've seen these before, where everybody that supported the taste in the past, they'd be on the card, let's say, and you just have to get them to agree to, it'd be simple if everybody would agree to the same discount, whatever, 10% off or whatever. Then you sell the cards and that money gets, donated to the library. Because then people would be, not forced, but they would have the card, good for a year to go to those places that supported the taste. That was one idea.
Has anybody ever had one of those cards? I know that we used to sell them in our church softball league. Ken Wolf has his hand up. Brenda, you get a card, you pay $25 for it or whatever, and you have a list of participating establishments that, when you go in there, you get 10% off your thing. And the $25 that you spend, you're more than getting that back if you use your card on even just a weekly basis. If you're one of those people that does it daily, you're really making out. And so that doesn't cost anything for anybody to, that's pure revenue that would come in. The only thing we would need is that the restaurants would, like Glenn said, maybe have a set 10% discount that would encourage them to do it. And then we could charge for that card. And again, that's all revenue. And then that we could donate to the library. And just one more thing on the Taste of West Lancaster County. We have over the last 5 years, it's generally between $10,000 and $13,000 that we generate for the Elizabethtown Public Library. So that's what they've been counting on us over the last couple of years. I know when we first started, I think we were able to raise $3,000, and the first year, and then it was $6,000, and then it was $10,000, and I think it hit even a high point of $15,000 that we did for the library before I ran it. So over the so it's basically a $10,000 to $13,000 shortfall that the library is feeling this year. So thoughts?
Kevin, I have one I want to bounce off you guys. Have an all month long thing in the month of February. I call it the February Food Festival for the library. You can sell the tickets like we had in the past, for like, what was it, 40 some dollars or $50 or whatever they were. And print out a board game type thing, like a map where all of these businesses are. And they can stamp when you visit each one of these things as a contest to get the community involved in it, and offer a prize for the person who's the first one to complete buying food at each one of these restaurants or whatever. Have the Lions Club does sell a targeting discount card, so I don't want to do something along what they do. I buy one of them every year, but we might offer 50% off your meal if you have the Elizabethtown Rotary Taste of Northwest Lancaster County thing and you're participating in the game. And whether they're doing indoor or just takeout, you can call ahead, order your meal, go there, get 50% off, show your thing, get your thing stamped, enter the contest, and run it the whole month of February. And that way you could have, the February Food Festival, for the library, and see if that would fly. That's just an idea that I had. Just let it float out there and see what you think.
I appreciate that. Other thoughts, ideas?
Kevin, having participated in the discount card idea, my only concern would be all the softball teams in the league do that. There's other organizations that do that. So you're really going to water down, and this kind of goes to what Roger said, that if it's exactly the same thing, it's going to be watered down significantly. And, it's very difficult to raise even, several $1,000s. So just a
Okay.
thought.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
This is Mike Kalos here. I think I had emailed Don an idea very similar to Glenn's. My thought would be is to talk to some of the restaurants to see, with like a card like Glenn's talking about, talk to them about what they'd be interested in doing. Because one of the goals is to support them by getting people to come down. And what it might be is say, hey, you buy the card and you get that card, but instead of being 10% off or something like that, which actually doesn't help the restaurants because that's their slim margins already, would basically have each restaurant be able to throw out an incentive to come in, like a free appetizer or free side of fries, and you get a punch card, so you go down to Funk and you order dinner and some beer to go, and you get a free side of fries as an incentive to support, but we're not taking away their 10% profit margin on the larger bill. And allow us to say, hey, go try these 8 restaurants and get a taste at those 8 restaurants for $40, and you're still supporting those restaurants to get people down there to buy a larger actual meal rather than a 10% off. They still like the $100 bill, but that 10% off is a hard sale. If you say, hey, get a taste, then that becomes it becomes part of the taste of Western Lancaster County. You're just going to the locations and getting the free appetizer at each place, but then you're also ordering dinner and other things. Just a thought.
No, that's a good thought. Good point.
Can I raise a question?
Yes.
And that is, there's been no discussion about moving it to the fall.
Well, we could do that. I mean, that's possible.
By July, according to the CDC and the state's schedule, we should have herd immunization. That is, everybody who is bright enough to get a shot is going to have the chance to get one. But if you moved it into the fall, you could, unless we've got so many other events in the fall. But I just kept thinking, this is such a good event. Why replace it? Just move it.
I like the ideas coming.
Would that hurt the library way too much? I mean, it's $13,000. I mean, What about doing both? You know,
Well,
and
idea.
a suggestion would be to talk to like Wham Pinkerton, to talk to, and Michelle's on this Zoom call as well. Talk to Michelle, you know, with the Fuego input, and see what they'd be willing to do, what they think that the restaurants
It would be great.
do to help.
Good point, Deb. It'd be great to get some input from from all parties that are concerned, which would be the library and our vendors.
Hey,
Ed.
Kevin,
Yes, Ed.
Kevin, one thought, building off of what you started with earlier, and some of the other comments, maybe if we moved it just even not all the way to fall, towards maybe the end of April or into May, and maybe one of our other Rotary partners who has a very large parking lot available, we could space it out, do it as an outdoor event in a parking lot where we could, make sure we have space between each one of the stalls. We could add some extra vendors like some food trucks and things, but also our normal vendors set up under a little pop-up tent in the parking lot. That would help us keep so a little bit of distance between the people who are participating and attending, but we would still have a more traditional taste type of event.
There's that area across from, is it the Hub, right at BB&T, where they did the fair on the square? I mean, they had food trucks there. Hopefully that would be a large enough spot. So there's one example of a potential site.
That's the St. Pete's parking lot, and I don't know that would be big enough to house all
How about
the
the-
ones that we had.
How about the fairgrounds?
So I'm hesitant to jump in and say that, just because the school district has very strict mitigation efforts and attestation forms that we have to follow. So it would be difficult for us to commit to that yet for this school year because of the laws and requirements that we have. If the pandemic were not in play, yes, we could certainly do something, but the district has to really be careful. So I would be open to the conversation and part of the discussion of what we could do, but I could not say at this point that yes, the district could commit to that space.
But Michelle, would they allow alcohol though?
Oh, absolutely not.
Exactly.
I think
Oh, that's a hard message to say. It's first of all, yeah, no, we could not do that.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
We couldn't even have salt on campus for a while.
I think talking sites is probably something for the next meeting, because I know it's not going to end right here.
Right.
Personally, I like Glenn's idea of a food truck. My concern is getting us to a point where we can have food trucks.
Right.
Because there are businesses that who knows how much longer they are going to be able to last in their current form.
Yeah.
They're already struggling as it is. I think one thing we have going for us already is the cash mob idea. And I'll say maybe ramping that up or just PRing the crap out of it. When this started, this isn't ingenious by any means, but my initial thought was that chains can survive because they have so many links. And for a local vendor, there's one link between them and you. And when that link breaks, they're done. That talks to the big box store mentality and what have you. One thing I think we can keep doing is just keep pushing this buy local and the cash mob idea, et cetera, and that helps get these places to the point where they can't even think about fielding a food truck in the middle of a school lot or a church lot or whatever kind of lot.
I think we need to write down these good ideas and have a list of them, and then along with a couple of other people, bring out how they can work and add to them until we get something right.
So Kevin, I think you have some new members to your committee here. So see who can come forward and maybe put in the chat, hey, Kevin, Sign me up. When are we
Well,
meeting?
There is
the
a
whole-
message in the chat from Michelle, and she said she's sorry, she's working at Fuego right now, so she had to message. Saying Kmart parking lot with food trucks, vineyards, breweries, restaurants without food trucks, as long as we have electric or generators, roped off, private area with 3 different music options at opposite ends of parking lot. And I think Michelle's on your committee.
Yep. Yep.
And
Well,
keep
I
in
do
mind
have the
that
contact information for that Kmart parking lot.
the purpose of this whole thing is to come up with some ideas, not to solve the problem per se, but come up with some other ideas that Kevin's group can run with. And if you just, you know, the whole cash mob thing is great, but it doesn't help the library, and that's what he said before.
Yeah,
So, you know, if we just do the math, if every Rotarian gave $100, that's $13,000 we give to the library. So, like, if
There
you
you
just
go.
break it down to the numbers,
Good
it's
idea.
$100 a person. You know, if we can't come up with something to help the library, that's a pretty easy way to help them.
Yeah. Wonderful.
You know.
Yeah, and I know we're up against the time here, and as Glenn said, the whole point is just to get some ideas, and Dave, you'll be happy to know that I have been jotting them down from Roger's Food Festival, kind of like a McDonald Monopoly board, and the takeout card, and the pros and the cons, and food truck.
Wonderful.
Moving it to a different location gives us some things to think about. So thank you very much. I think we accomplished what we were looking to do, is to get some ideas. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin, for your work currently and what is about to come, and for everybody's input. Much appreciated. I just want to, yeah, somebody go ahead.
Rotary in action.
Exactly. End of the year thoughts. I would just like to share a little. I was downtown doing a little shopping, and I hope all of you are noticing the banners for our club that are up. There's Funk right there, a familiar sight. And I did a little Christmas shopping here, and there's a banner there. And that is the one that talks about, there it is, 1925. And just a couple thoughts, if I can contain myself here, as the year comes to a close. At a time of severe difficulty, so many of you have stepped up, given generously of your time to keep our club positioned to serve food bank, tree planting, fresh produce harvesting, moving the winter shelter, some of our members volunteering there, fundraising, pints for polio, tree sale, and now the new cash mob. I just want to thank you on behalf of the community for being a club that cares. I am honored to lead you. And as we present what we're looking at right here, it's a banner of hope to our community and the world. Like Dave said, Rotary in action. Enjoy your holidays, everybody. See you January 8th.
Oh, well done. Yes.